We're live. Welcome to yet another edition of our PCS Impact Q&A. I'm your host, MJ Boyce. I'm the Director of Community Outreach here at PCS Grades. Boom! I would also like to introduce our Director of Marketing, that is Sally Houston. She's going to kind of go over some really awesome things that are happening in our PCS story contest. Stand by for more info. And then, of course, we have the lovely Cameron Cruz as our guest today, co-founder of R.Riveter. But before we get to those contest updates, and before we get to our girl Cameron, I'm going to go through those housekeeping items really quick, as we do every week. Ready, set, here we go. All right, folks, we've got the answers. And if we don't have those answers, we know who does. And if we don't know either of those things, we're going to take your questions for action and get back to you with an answer. Speaking of questions, comments, concerns, shout outs, go ahead and leave those in the comment section below, because guess what? We're going to be going ahead and giving away a $250 R.Riveter gift card. R.Riveter bags are the bomb diggity, and we'll go down that rabbit hole in just a few minutes. But trust me, you want to stick around to the end. The more engaged you are, the more comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, shout outs, go ahead and leave them in there for a chance to enter to win. By the way, LOL smiley faces are so encouraged, but don't count as an entry, folks. All right, next up, we bring you the experts. Experts like U.S. Transportation Command. Experts like the International Association of Movers and other moving industry professionals. We bring you military spouse employment advocates and military-connected student experts as well. Sometimes you're going to end up in a scenario that is specific to you and your military family. And in those cases, your two forever and always resources will be, number one, your local chain of command. Number two, your local transportation office. Those are the people who know you. Those are the people who are dealing with your stuff. Those are the people who can take your issues and further them for action. Of course, you always have PCS Grades at the helm. You can come to leave and read reviews from other military families about your base housing, your off-base housing, movers, schools, and more. So head on over to PCS Grades when you're done here, but wait, because it's a great webinar today. Last but not least, I say it every week, I will modify it every week, because like military life, this is changing. We got to keep doing our part, people. We've got to keep doing our part. We've got to keep trying to flatten that curve. Whether that's wearing your mask or social distancing or adhering to wherever you're going or have been or need to go, knowing what those restrictions or mandates or rules and regulations are is very, very important, because we must remain vigilant. When we flatten that curve, we're going to flatten Murphy with it. Do you hear us, Murphy? We are coming for you. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our Director of Marketing, Sally Houston, for those PCS Story Contest updates. Sally?
Hi, everyone. So if you missed it last week, we have an awesome PCS Story Contest that is launching August 15th. We are giving away a ton of prizes, but our two grand prizes include 2 full service Diddy moves. That means no packing on your part, no loading on your part. PCS Grades and Shift are going to handle your entire move so you can kick back and relax on your next PCS. If you don't win the grand prize, there are still tons of great prizes left. A couple of lucky winners are going to win Home Depot gift cards up to $1,000. And then we didn't announce this last week, but since last week, Radisson Hotels Americas has teamed up with us, and they are giving 5 families 300,000 Radisson Hotels Americas reward points, so they can use that while they're traveling across the country on their PCS. So there are a ton of exciting updates coming. The PCS Story Contest starts next week, August 15th. It runs through August 31st. All you have to do is leave a review to win. Leave a review on PCSgrades.com and share your most memorable PCS story. So be on the lookout for that. MJ, I'm going to turn it back over to you to introduce our special guest.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sally. And y'all, I am so excited. If you didn't see last week, you would see my excitement plain as day. This is huge, especially kind of after the PCS. We all have PCS stories. every single one of us, there would be no New York Times bestseller list because they would have nothing on our story. Write it down. It's a thing. Okay, so thank you so much. And I would love to introduce Cameron Cruz. She's the co-founder of R.Riveter bags. Okay, so, I love them. I love them. Yes, I have one. We'll get to that in a minute. But Cameron, would you mind doing me a favor and introducing yourself a little bit to our audience?
Sure. So I'm Cameron Cruz. I'm one of the co-founders of R.Riveter, and ultimately we're a handbag company on a mission to support military spouses and families. But a little bit about me, I grew up in Atlanta. I went to college in Savannah, met a man in the military, had no idea what that meant. We got married and kind of whisked away into this, our first PCS, and just into basically the middle of nowhere, where we moved to Dahlonega, Georgia, and I had just gotten a degree in architecture, and we were in the middle of nowhere. And so that's where my quarter life crisis began, where R.Riveter began. And ultimately I've made 2 moves since then, and I'm currently on a PCS right now.
Yes. Well, welcome. I'm super excited to have you. I mean, we are very excited, especially given the fact that, I have to say, y'all, we need to give her props. So throw up those hearts, those reactions, because hitting it up in an RV as a PCSer, yes, and just getting kind of settled. Your PCS, just like deployment, is not over when you land where you're at. There are things that happen next. So stand by on that story. I'm sure you're going to have a few doozies yourself.
Definitely. You got to roll with it, right? In the state of the housing market right now, we are on our final move. So my husband's actually retiring from the military, which makes this PCS season, I feel like, even that much more impactful for us. So all of those decisions that we're having to make are like the ultimate, this is kind of the end of the line. And so, we definitely invested in that RV. We wanted to buy ourselves some time so we could really be patient and make the right decisions for our family and make it a little kind of adventure along the way.
No, it's a good way to, it's a good way to start out with that, especially, we can reframe it all day long. It doesn't have to be PCS, the pretty crappy situation. It could be PCS party coming soon. It could be, PCS personal change of story. Who knows? It could be anything. So reframe. We're going to dive right in. And you talked a little bit about it already, but can you tell us a little bit about how R.Riveter was born and what its mission kind of is?
Sure. So that first PCS, I'm having flashbacks of the dating move and having no idea what that really meant at the time when I took that on. But basically, I graduated with a master's in architecture from the Savannah College of Art and Design, and we moved to the 5th Ranger Training Battalion in Dahlonega, Georgia, which maybe some of you have heard of, maybe you have not. But Dahlonega is really, it's grown since then, but at the time it was home of the Ranger Training Battalion. There's a college, there's moonshine, the Appalachian Trail starts and ends there, and that's kind of about it. So there is no architecture happening there. So this kind of career that I thought I was going to have, this life story that I thought I was writing for myself, kind of all came screeching to a halt. And I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? And right about that time, I met Lisa, who is my co-founder, and she was going through the same crisis. And so we thought, okay, how many military families and spouses are going through this? How many other women are out there in our exact same shoes? And wait a minute, could we start a company for us and help other military spouses at the same time? And it was like this win-win light bulb moment where we could provide some kind of mobile, flexible income. So not only could you have it, but you could take it with you. And it was like, all right, now what? How are we going to do that? What are we going to do? And then ultimately we landed on handbags, because handbag is the power accessory. It's the thing that you're going to pick up every day. It's not apparel. It's not, something that you're just going to kind of put on and take off and leave it in the closet. It is the thing that you take with you to the meeting, the everyday, the kid drop off, the carpool, everywhere. And so we knew we had handbags. We knew we had our mission for mobile, flexible income. And then it was like, now, how are we going to get this done? And it's been an adventure ever since. We're celebrating 10 years this year.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, so it's so great to hear more just more about your background, Cameron, but we're also excited to hear about what PCSing in an RV has been like. You've touched on it already a little bit, and it sounds great that you're turning it into this adventure. But you're not the first person we've heard from who's going through this, especially given the current housing market and how just competitive it is. Can you just share more with our audience? Because we know other people watching are definitely in your shoes too.
Definitely. So I will say that we've been living in the RV since the end of May, and I have 2 kids. So there's 4 of us. We're kind of a full-on family unit, living in an RV at 43 feet. Basically, we went from like a couple thousand square feet in our home to like 400. And so we really started this process, this journey, many, many months before we even bought the RV, just so we could really understand what we were getting ourselves into. We could learn about actual RV living. What are people that have been doing this for much longer than we have? How are they doing it? The landscaping guys are here at the RV park. And so we started learning really, really early on, a lot like we did with R.Riveter. I mean, we took to the internet the second we thought, all right, maybe we could do this. And so we started Googling and learning. And ultimately, we pared down significantly. It was like, what do we want to potentially pay to store? What do we really, really love of all of our, our multiple thousands of square feet home? What do we want to keep? And what are we going to sell, donate, and get rid of and pare down so that we can have this? We knew we were going to be in the RV for like 7 to 8 months. And so, what do you absolutely have to have? What do you want to store? And what are you going to part ways with? And so from then it was, really just like learning how to do that, how to pare that down.
And I think that's hilarious because, not hilarious, hilarious because, we talk about the PCS purge. Okay. You just created an entirely new definition of the PCS.
Yeah, new category, right?
Right. Man, that's literally, that is no joke. Okay. So, you're going to store some stuff, you're going to keep what you want, but you're taking your business with you. So as a military spouse entrepreneur, R.Riveter is going to PCS right along with you and your family. So what are some of the benefits and the challenges of taking your business on the road during a PCS?
Well, we're at the scale now where we're lucky enough to have an established network and a team. So even when we were just the 2 of us, and Lisa actually moved way more frequently than I did at the very beginning. So even when it was just 2 or 3 of us, she was able to really lean on us when she knew she was going to be, making that move during that week, or when I knew that we were going to be traveling in the RV. Because if you've ever RV'd, you know that the day you move your RV is like you're going to be doing nothing but like packing and moving and unpacking. So just being really transparent about where you are in that process. When are you going to be kind of like off the grid, if you will. But ultimately, I'm lucky because all I really need is a solid internet connection, my laptop, and somewhere to sit. And I can do my job, which is, a lot of military spouse entrepreneurs are in the same boat, which is awesome. And so I think if you can build your business that way so that you can be flexible and mobile and transient. Don't get me wrong, there have been moments where it's been stressful, but this is why we built the business so that we could have that flexibility.
Word.
And I will tell you, if there are internet resources out there, I've got a couple of them, because that's another thing, that the mobile internet is a difficult black hole to navigate. So I'm happy to share all of those. I didn't think about it before, but I can share all of those links too.
For sure. No, yes. When you go ahead and drop in the private chat, our girl Teresa on the back end, shout out Teresa. Yeah. She'll go ahead and make sure that that those get posted. We have a couple of comments, couple of things, and there's one in particular that I would like to point out. And she's a regular watcher. Her name is Destin, and she literally, her last night in her house in Colorado, pre-PCS. It just seems like every time she watches, like last week, I believe she was just waiting for the Packers to get there the next day. Now it's her last night. So Dustin, we're with you. We're following with you. We got your back. And if anybody, especially with it being fresh in her mind right now, our girl Cameron here can relate.
Yes, absolutely. Good luck.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
bittersweet. It's a bittersweet moment to live somewhere for at least a couple of years, find that network, have those friends and those people, and then have to leave it all and start over again. It's scary and it's exciting and kind of all the emotions wrapped up into it. When we first got here, it was kind of like I don't know what to do with my hands. Like I'm used to being in a place where I know people, I've got networks, my kids know people, I know exactly where to go for soccer, for football, for baseball, all of those things. And so when we got here, it was like, all right, we're starting completely from scratch, going to start Googling all those sports, asking random people random questions and just being like, I'm new here. Can you help me?
Will you be my emergency contact?
Yeah,
Please?
exactly.
Cameron, is there anything that you're just like, I really wish I had brought this with me and we put it in storage?
Ooh. There were definitely a couple of those items. I'm blanking right now. But
so just for reference, like Carrie, she's got a similar question. Was the space, like that space, the biggest adjustment for RV living? Like getting, having to store and then being like, wish I would have taken that.
The space has actually not been that bad. I mean, thank God we're in the summer months too. So like everybody can kind of flex in and out. We can kick the kids outside during the day when they're home. I will tell you the biggest adjustment is the laundry and the dishes because we do not have built-in laundry or built-in dishwasher. So when I do finally get those things again, I will be so incredibly grateful for them. But ultimately, I think those have been the two biggest adjustments we've had to make. And the kids basically have like a whole, if you're into RVs, we got a toy hauler and we just gave them the whole back garage. So they're living kind of their best life right now with like a TV in their room and they're so excited.
Oh yeah. And then we've got Caitlin, shout out Caitlin. We just finished our PCS in an RV last week. Apparently this is like a thing, people.
Yeah.
It is. It is a thing. And I will tell you, if you are looking to PCS in an RV, do not underestimate the travel that is happening right now. One thing that we did is we didn't book our spots early enough in advance kind of along the way. So there's this huge peak in RV traveling and living right now. And those RV parks are very limited sometimes in their spaces. So that was something that surprised me, like, holy cow, are we going to have actually somewhere to park this thing? Or are we going to be like in a Walmart parking lot right now? So go in advance. If you're thinking about doing this, it's great. We've had a great time. I do recommend it if you think you're interested in it, but definitely advance plan all of your stays.
That is great insight. Oh my gosh. I can't.
And that's just like that. Sixta, it's something she's interested in. I think she's shout out Sixta. I mean, like, boom, mic drop.
Yeah, it's fun. It's, our kids are younger. So we have a 10-year-old, actually just turned 11, and a 7-year-old. And so this is like our very last couple of summers where they're going to enjoy being around us. So we just wanted to kind of take a break, take it slow, and meander across the southeastern United States on the way from North Carolina to Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it sounds like y'all have handled it like champs and did it the right way. I think kind of shifting gears a little bit and turning the focus back on R.Riveter. If a military spouse in the audience is interested in getting involved with R.Riveter, where should they go to learn more, Cameron?
You can always go to R.Riveter.com. That's our website, kind of our home base. If you're interested in the community and asking questions and getting to know our brand, at R.Riveter Bags is always a great place to land as well.
Okay, and we'll definitely
Facebook, Instagram, all of those platforms.
Perfect. Yeah, and I think you've teamed up. We're so excited because we've talked about this PCS story contest, this Ditty contest at the beginning, and you're one of our judges on our panel, which is so exciting. But can you share just a little bit more about why you're excited to support our PCS contest?
Absolutely. So it was so serendipitous that you guys reached out because I was literally mid-move. I think I was in the car driving from one state to the next when you guys called. So I was like, this is such a perfect timing. And then really R.Riveter is about supporting our community and our military families. So one of the most challenging parts about being a military community member is when you're having to move every 2 to 3 years. And so when you're in that moment and you're in that most stressful part of being one of the most stressful pieces of being a military spouse. We wanted to be able to do anything that we could to support that. And so we are happy to be a part of this community, and anything we can do to give back in those moments, you know. Plus, I'm so excited to read all of the stories.
I am too. Like, that's the best part. Like,
Yeah.
Not only because you could be like, I've got your back. I've been there, done that, and I got the bag, literally.
Yep.
But also because it's a way to say, okay, like, I'm not alone, and you're not alone.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting because I mean, we do have a lot of engagement. Y'all are on fire right now with all these questions, and we're going to get them answered. But I just wanted to shout out Mary. She said, my husband and I always chat about how we would love to work from home with R.Riveter someday. We love working with leather around here. Of course, he's actually the one who's a boss on the sewing machine.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I mean, what a cool skill to know. You know, I think that was something my mom taught me to sew from when I was very young. And she always said, you know, you should do something with this for your career. And, you know, of course I went off and paid for a degree in architecture, and then, you know, I went to art school where I could have gotten an accessory fashion degree, and totally skipped all of that and kind of full circled back to the sewing machine. I just love working with my hands of course, I don't do a lot of sewing anymore. We got fired from that very early on, but, you know, I think it's such a great therapeutic thing to do. One of my favorite activities.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
Sure.
MJ, do you think we have time for a few more questions that have popped up?
Oh, we do. I mean, just for the record, we usually run to be about anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes, especially when we've got an audience as hot as y'all.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a question that Hannah had. So shout out Hannah. I'm finding it right now, because her question was, I wouldn't have even really thought about this. Her question was about mail. It was like, how do you go? Here it is. How does the postal service work when you're living in an RV?
That is a great question. And so I wouldn't have thought about it either until like the week before, when I was going to do my mail forwarding. And it was like, wait, where do I forward said mail? And ultimately, we're lucky enough to have a family member where we could forward all of our mail to our parents' house. And then I got informed delivery turned on, so I could see everything that was kind of landing at their home. I don't know what I would do without my parents and my husband's parents, who have permanent residences. I mean, it's just like such a miracle. Like you don't ever have to worry about changing your address. And so we got all of our stuff forwarded to them, and I turned on the USPS informed delivery so I could just keep an eye on what was happening. And then you'd be amazed at some of the RV parks, you know, you can get Amazon and stuff delivered pretty much anywhere. So don't worry. I didn't skip a beat with any of my e-commerce shopping online.
Not even a little.
Not even a little. Especially in RV. You think RV life might be a little bit cheaper, but then you're like, oh, I need a mini pan to go in my mini oven. And then all of a sudden you spend all of this money on RV life. So
I want to shout out Carrie. I thought RV living would be simple. This is very useful for me, and definitely didn't think like, the laundry or mail. This is useful. So
it's simple in a different way. I mean, it's simple in the fact that like you're going to spend more time with your family. You're going to be doing some of those chores that you took for granted on some of those items that you had in your house, like a dishwasher. And so I think it's a lot simpler. It's kind of a change of pace, if you will.
No, for sure.
Well, I think so. In that vein, I thought this was a great point. Like worrying about the food storage with the family. Well, she's got a family of 6. It sounds out from Tess. But yeah, what does food storage look like for y'all?
The grocery store went from the weekly trip to like a bi-weekly trip. And then beyond that, we have a fairly large refrigerator and a decent sized pantry. So all RVs are not created equal, and all of the like different floor plans will blow your mind. And so we did a lot of research on which one we loved. Like we have a pantry, and like the kids have basically a third of the RV with a bathroom, which was important for them to have their own space. But there are different functions where you can have more kitchen, more storage, if that's what's important to you. If you've got, four kids, of the family of 6, right? You might need to have that full-on bunkhouse in the back for the RV.
Cool.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Well, what has it been like getting to know your new neighbors too? What has that been like?
My God. So the RV park life is very friendly. Like, it's funny because you'll pull in and you can spot the people that are like really excited to talk to you, and they'll walk up, they'll be circling, see if you need any help. And they'll be like, hi, I'm Cameron, where are you from? And so that's immediate conversation. I would say that if you get to those parks, we did a lot of time in state parks because of those moments where we realized all of the parks around us were sold out. And so we had a lot of state park living where people are just excited to be there, excited to chat. Everybody want to kind of get to know each other and share their stories. So it's good.
And
That's awesome.
Courtney had a question about the cold weather aspect.
Yeah.
We do when it's cold. Like her salesman said a lot of most RVs can't do cold weather.
I could see that. There are definitely RVs that are rated more intensely for cold weather than others. What I will say is we probably wouldn't have, I don't know if we would have been able to do the same thing in the winter, just because I was talking about how, the kids can really get outside in the spring, summer, and the fall. We just moved to Southeast Texas, so I don't know if we'll ever see real winter again unless we get some like freak ice storm like we had this year. But it definitely better in the warmer months, depending on where you are.
Okay. That's also good to know.
Yeah.
Wow, we got a lot more coming in. I mean, we got time for like maybe 2 or 3 more.
2 or 3 more. Okay.
But that's I'll tell you who's got it, who like did it all in one pretty much. So while I'm pulling it up, one of them, Jenna, shout out Jenna, she asked, do you see a lot of military families at these RV parks?
We have, and a lot of them really more on vacation than not, and a lot of retired military families on vacation. I think it's because we hit it in the summer where, we were at the lake, we went to Destin, Florida. So everybody's kind of on vacation, enjoying themselves at the parks that we were at. And then of course we're in Southeast Texas now, where there's not really a military base close to us because my husband's retiring. So it's kind of a whole new crew, which is probably a whole nother like PCS, subject, because it's so strange to not be around a military installation. But yeah, you can definitely spot the military families, and we've seen a few of them, but a lot of them on vacation.
Yeah,
for sure. And I there you go. Do they sometimes have military?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. And when you start to get into like the RV research, you've got a lot of those like, there are apps and there are clubs that you can join that have those military discounted rates. There are definitely opportunities for those wherever you go.
Well, and I think just thinking about the cost too, this question didn't even cross my mind until I saw it here. Do you rent an RV? Do you own an RV? Are both options?
They are both options, yes. We bought the RV from an individual, so we didn't go to a dealer or anything like that. We were actually really patient, and we got a pretty good deal on the one that we were looking for, which was exciting. And then we did go ahead and remodel, because I really like being like sort of in a clean, light area environment. So we painted, did some shiplap, did new curtains, all kinds of stuff. So it was, we like having projects, so it was a lot of fun. But you can, one thing that I would suggest before you take the plunge is definitely going out and renting for the weekend, for the week, just to see if you like it or not. And, so that you kind of get the feel for it before you dive all the way in and buy one. Because you kind of hear it through the grapevine, but RVs are not the best investment. Like the second you drive them off the lot, it's like a brand new car. You're gonna be upside down on it. So you gotta really love it. And we definitely have plans after we live in it to use it on the weekends for our kids' sports. knowing, we were going to live in it and then using it after helped us, make that decision too.
I'm like writing all of this down because
Yes.
Boo, I know you're watching. I saw you watching on my phone. I know we're going to have a conversation once this is over, for the record.
We need like a part 2 RV military life move because I feel like there's so much that you could get into.
And just for the record, everybody, if we do not get to your question, we will be sticking in touch with our girl Cameron here, and she's agreed to help us answer them if she can.
Yes. Well, and I think I'm looking for this comment. I know people are excited for the bag giveaway. And someone had dropped in the comments just about how SCAD was such a great school. And you shared a little bit about that architecture background. I think shifting our focus back to the products that we love that your company creates. I mean, how have you kind of taken that architecture lens and applied it to, just the brand design and look? Because MJ and I were talking yesterday, your products are gorgeous. And my husband is going to kill me for saying this on a live webinar, but he was like, oh, if I had a purse, I would want it to look like that. That's cool. So, I mean, where does your design inspiration, because all your purses do have a very distinct look. Where does that design inspiration come from? How's your background kind of driven that? And
And the core of R.Riveter is about that refined, sophisticated, but highly utilitarian military style. So a lot of our designs are not only aesthetically and practically inspired by that, but it kind of encompasses everything that we want to do. Like, the exterior pockets. I will tell you, when we designed that women's wallet, a lot of it was because I wanted to have my ID card on the outside of my wallet, because every time I went to the gate, I would like sweat with like so much anxiety about like, can I find my ID? So there's so much about military life and kind of inspired by the military spouses around us when we went into designing the product. But, from an architecture to accessory standpoint, a lot of business and product design, engineering, and manufacturing is project management. And that is huge in what you learn in school for architecture. So how do you take something huge like, designing a building and kind of work your way back into, all right, how do we make this happen step by step, layer by layer? And a lot of that goes into on kind of a smaller scale, when you're designing a bag. Okay, well, I have this end goal in mind. How am I going to make this happen? Starting completely from scratch, but knowing I have the resources that I have. So a lot of it parallels. We are very inspired by sort of that minimalist architectural look that goes really well with everything, like a great pair of jeans. But, ultimately, we were just so inspired by the community around us.
Absolutely. I mean, MJ, Cameron's comment about a great pair of jeans reminds me about what you were saying yesterday. I think you should totally share it.
Okay, here's the thing. Yeah, I'm pretty low maintenance. Like, you're welcome, by the way. And so I'm a t-shirt and jeans kind of chick. Like, really, really hard on the dress up, but I do travel to DC because I'm, right outside, and I am going to meetings on the Hill, and I do attend more formal events. So I'm just going to throw this, because this is so cool. Y'all, low maintenance. Like, this is a clutch, right? This is an R.Riveter clutch. Really, really cool. Like, literally, the coolest thing I've ever had. I'm going to tell you that I have used this wearing this shirt. I have used this in my t-shirt and jeans, maybe throw on a cute blazer if I have to. Or I have used this at every formal event since I was gifted this about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. Every formal event, and it goes with all of the things. I'm low maintenance. I like my t-shirt and jeans, and this is my jam.
Okay.
I'm
gonna show off my dot before we give it away. Love the handles. These are so great. But I also, when I have my toddler who's like running, wild in the parking lot or wherever we are, I've got the longer strap to throw across. It's just very practical purse, but also looks so cute. Oh, I didn't know this about the outside pockets. I put my mask there, but that's a great
mask, cell phone, everything that you need, like really easy access to. And the coolest part about all of our bags that will kind of bring them together is not only that military spouse, like yellow support tag that you saw on both of your bags. But we have this little tag, and mine is like heavily worn. Like I take this bag everywhere right now. This is the hopper. But this is the story tag where basically all of the military spouses, I'm like terrible, this is not good. Okay. All the military spouses get to stamp their RRID number on them, so you can actually see all of the military spouses that go into making your handbag this entire community of people coming together.
That's all. I don't need to show y'all the inside of my messy purse, but yes.
It's all in there. It's probably about the same as me. Yes. Like these things, I mean, like, and we're giving away a $250 gift card, y'all. That's a lot of bang for your buck. Okay. And, I mean, this material, like even my husband, just like yours, Sally, said, and I'm gonna pose the same question because I think it was asked of you before, Cameron, by Brian Alvarado back at like MSOY of like 2018 or something, and he was like, "Are you gonna do man bags?"
So we have a man bag in the works. We have something that's being designed and tested right now. I probably shouldn't say that on the internet, but we do have something in the works.
Oh my God, y'all heard it here.
TBD.
Don't repeat that. You guys just got insider information.
So
my team is like, Cameron, stop.
If we go viral, I'm so sorry. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get these names up because we've had a lot of engagement. I mean, a lot. Like our girl Teresa over here on the back end. I said, okay, hey Teresa, can you shoot us those names? And she said, yep, so many. And
Awesome.
I'm wondering if we're going to break the wheel of names again. It has happened once in the past on our 50th episode. I'm very, oh my goodness. So we're going to be giving away to one lucky winner that $250 R.Riveter card. And as she is sending me these names, you mentioned that, you know, to get involved, are you hiring on a rolling basis by chance?
So right now we are not hiring. So we go through these peaks and valleys, right? With any normal business, we have a need for military spouse riveters working from home, and then we've got too many, and then we grow, and then we get more. So one of the ultimate goals for our riveter is to keep growing so that we can provide mobile flexible income to as many military spouses as possible. Currently, we are not hiring, but what I will say is if you send us an email or get in touch with us on Instagram or on Facebook, we will put you on the list so that when we are, you're one of the top people that we're ready to reach out to.
That is very, see, I'm seeing on my, I'm also watching this, I can multitask, I'm watching this on my phone and I'm seeing these hearts just, whew. So whenever you see this out of my periph, that's what I'm seeing. And I've done that a lot if you haven't noticed, because people are just loving this. Okay, so the names are sent, and as I pull this up, do you have any saved rounds for our audience, Cameron?
Any what?
Saved rounds, anything you want to say or shout out?
Oh my goodness. I mean, shout out to anybody who's like enduring or planning a PCS right now. Like we are with you in spirit and heart and mind and like soul. It's going to be okay.
Yes. AKA we've got your 6.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. There are so many names, y'all. Holy
MJ, while you pull that, do you think there's time for one more question?
Go for it.
Okay, so while we get that wheel of names going, I love that. This is how I felt when I learned about R.Riveter. I'm like, this is awesome. I wish I had known. Are y'all in the PX? Or BX?
We were in the base exchanges for a hot minute a couple of years ago. And we have not been in them since. So really the best place to check it all out is R.Riveter.com. And then you can always share with your friends and family. We have our rewards, like a point system where if you share, you get points off too. So that's kind of the best place to go and experience the brand and kind of share it from there because you get the discounts.
Cool. Okay. Good to know. Someone about to win, MJ?
It's about to go down, y'all. I'm sharing my screen. I apologize for all the tabs open, just like my brain. All right. Can y'all see this?
Ooh, here we go.
See how insane this is? Okay. On your mark, it's set. The winner of the lucky winner of a $250 R.Riveter gift card is going to be Caitlin Hevlin.
Woo!
Congratulations,
That's awesome.
Caitlin.
Go,
Oh my
Caitlin.
gosh. So congratulations. You are the lucky winner of a $250 R.Riveter gift card. If you could go ahead, Caitlin, and get with the PCS Grades Facebook page, go ahead and send us a message with your email address so we can coordinate that with you. Super excited. Congrats. Everybody show her some love. And yes, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you, just within the last 27 congratulations in the last like 10 seconds, like one team, one fight, people. But yeah, so that is all that we have for you today. Don't forget to keep an eye out for that PCS story contest that is coming up from the 15th to the 31st of this August. You don't want to miss that. Keep an eye out. We'll be talking about it every webinar. Cameron, I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and your busy PCS in your RV.
Yes.
I have a feeling we're going to have some saved rounds. We might shoot them over to you tomorrow.
All right. Perfect.
Yes. And thank you so much, Sally, for joining us today as well and kind of dropping it like it's hot on that contest.
Here.
Let me go ahead and throw up our ticker because come and visit us next week. We have the Military Spouse Advocacy Network. We got Whitney from over there. It's sure to be a fun time. She and I kind of rip off each other. She happens to be a friend of mine as well, but we're going to talk about the Mentorship Hub and those PCS courses that, yes, we got just for you in a partnership with MSAN. But until next week, this too shall PCS. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.